All right, final mock draft. Rumors have been set, and of course, on draft day itself, we will see, more rumors come out, more, situations of the team come out. But as for now, Wednesday, April 27th, 2022, this is the final mock draft. And of course, one round, and we have to include trades. And not exactly a twist, but something to add on. This is all done impromptu. Usually, I may have done like one or two mock drafts prior, just to get all the picks right. But now it's just coming straight off the top of my brain. Trades, everything included. So let's get right into it. We're starting off with the Jags at 1, and it looks like Travon Walker is going to be the number 1 overall pick. Personally, I think this is going to be Aiden Hutchinson. I really do feel strongly about that pick, but the consensus number 1 overall pick is Travon Walker. Draft bet odds are Travon Walker, and you got to look at the logic here, right? The Jags were struggling between taking either Travon Walker or Aiden Hutchinson. The fact that there was any struggle at the time, because Aiden Hutchinson was the consensus number 1 overall pick, right? But the fact that there was struggle at the time makes certain that someone in the Jaguars organization was at least considering Travon Walker. And I think he will be the first name called out on draft day. I do not think he's the number 1 player in the class, but with the Jags not having, a game changer, like Josh Allen's good, but they don't have an amazing top end pass rusher, right? I think Travon Walker can be that with his versatile play and his athleticism. Lions at 2, I think this is going to be pretty simple. I like maybe the idea of adding Malik Willis to that Lions squad. With the enthusiasm that he plays, he would just fit perfectly with Dan Campbell. However, Aiden Hutchinson is the best player in the draft according to many, and I think personally, like I said before, I think he should go number 1 overall. But if Travon Walker goes at number 1, Aiden Hutchinson for sure, I think, is going to go number 2 overall. And okay, before we get to any of the rest of the pick, this is going to be highly inaccurate. I don't think anyone ever in the history of the universe has made a perfect mock draft, unless it was like back in 1936 when the draft started, if mock drafts even existed back then. As Texans at 3, I think this is the toughest position that you can be in as an NFL team. Who do you draft? You got every single position as a need for the Houston Texans, because if they take any position, it wouldn't be necessarily a bad pick. It just depends on how good the player is. But you look at Kayvon Thibodeau, top 3 edge rusher in the draft. Sauce Gardner could go here at number 3. They are considering cornerback. And then tackle. Evan Neal, Ika Mekwonu. Both very, very good tackles. It's debatable who's better. I think, personally, Ika Mekwonu is better. Then Derek Stingley Jr. had an amazing pro day. Does that elevate him into the top 5? We don't know. We don't really know anything. The previous draft, we sort of had at least a thought of what was going to happen. But right now, we really don't. Personally, I'm going to take Sauce Gardner out of Cincinnati. Like I said, it's just really, really hard to predict for the Texans. They're one of the hardest positions right now in this entire draft. But I think Gardner is just the best player you can take here. He is a top 5 talent in this class, no doubt. Number 1 DB in the class. He is unbelievable, and I think it would be a shock to see him fall really below 5. At the least, Sauce Gardner, this is a hot take if you want to consider that, Sauce Gardner will be taken at pick number 7. I think I'm considering that. Next up, we got the Jets at 4. Could this be Kayvon Thibodeau? Could this be Ika Mekwonu? I really, really think that this should be Evan Neal. I think that would be perfect for their offensive line. Because you look at right tackle starter immediately or right guard starter. But, of course, Ika Mekwonu could be considered as a better player. So it's between these 3 again, and it's not any easier than the last pick. And it's really weird to think that one pick would really just change this entire, draft process. But I'm going to go with Ika Mekwonu finally. It's really weird to not go Kayvon Thibodeau. I think he's a top 5 talent in the class. But the Jets just don't really need edge rusher right now. And if they can potentially trade up for Thibodeau, but he's going to be taken here at 5. But if, maybe they're considering a trade up for Kayvon Thibodeau, or they're trying to, take Thibodeau at the spot and then trade up with the Panthers maybe at 6 to try and get, a corner or an edge or something like that. But for now, I think the draft order stays the same in the top 5 as the Giants take Kayvon Thibodeau. Panthers at 6. I think this is Evan Neal. They said to Sam Darnold, a quarterback could be coming in. That doesn't matter, right? That does not repeal the fact that the Panthers badly need a tackle, and they badly need offensive line in general. Evan Neal addresses every offensive line position except for center. So, in the end, you're just getting a tremendous pick here. Really, 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 really good athlete. And then Giants at 7. They have been rumored to be linked with Charles Cross a lot. I think this is perfect. I think if they don't want really Evan Neal or Ike Mekwonu, maybe they're thinking that's best case scenario sort of for them. I think they take Charles Cross. They, I guess, like him as a pass protector, and they are sadly linked to Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback. I think he's ass, by the way. I think he's terrible. And even Giants fans, you gotta stop backing that guy up. The guy is a bust. We gotta admit, right? But Charles Cross, amazing pass protector. He at least is gonna give Daniel Jones or your future quarterback some help, right? So Cross goes to the Giants at 7, and yes, there's still no more, no trades so far, because I feel there's going to be very less trade action going on, unless, a team actually gives up a boatload of picks. As Atlanta at 8, I think this could be the first potential trade down spot, and I think who I'm going to, maybe consider as a candidate, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, the Falcons could move from 8 to 20, but in the end, I think they could walk away with 2 first-round picks. The Steelers are always good. I don't think you would take that as a bargain. I think you're depending on that pick to be, really high in the first round, but it's not going to be. So I think it would be unwise to consider the Steelers as a trade partner. Instead, I'm going to go with Drake London. And, hey, if they're looking for the new Julio Jones, Julio Jones is an amazing athlete too, but I consider Drake London as maybe the potential replacement, for amazing receiver like Julio Jones, because of his size, because of his potential, the numbers that he can put up, his just overall reliability. So I think Drake London could go at 8, and I certainly do think it will happen. It's a very popular mock to the Falcons, so I think that should definitely happen. Seahawks at 9. By the way, it's really weird that this is my final mock draft. This could be another trade down spot, and it really should be, because there's not their best players on the board. I would take Derek Stingley Jr. or Jermaine Johnson, and I'm leaning towards Jermaine Johnson. The Seahawks don't really like, taking good players. They always reach down the board, but this is the first time in years, multiple years, maybe even a decade, more than a decade even, that they've picked in the top 10. I think they could easily take Jermaine Johnson because he's a really good edge rusher, and they just don't have good pass rushing talent. It's really weird. Listen, I need to tell you this. I just thought of this in my head right now. The 2022 draft, hardest draft to predict ever. Ever. Okay? It's not easy because there's really any situation can flip it up like that. It's really, really hard to predict. But anyways, Jets at 10, Derek Stingley Jr. is on the board. Garrett Wilson's on the board. Kyle Hamilton's on the board. 3 players that you can take. But, Stingley's getting the hype. He deserves to be picked here. And you know it. Like, his freshman season, unbelievable. Second year, not so much. Third year, even worse. But you look at his pro day, and you know the athleticism's still there. If he actually tries out there on the field, this is a big concern, but if he tries, the Jets are going to get one of the best corners in the league. If they get freshman, like sophomore and junior, Derek Stingley Jr., he will, at the most, be a very average corner. That's all. Because he needs to transfer his talent to the NFL. There's a reason why he's getting picked this high. If he played like his sophomore and junior year in his freshman year, he wouldn't even be remotely close to being where he is picked right now. So, we're lucky that he had that. He's lucky that he had that freshman season. Commanders at number 11. It's tougher than you think. It is. Because Kyle Hamilton's good. But you gotta think it's going to be a receiver, and it's going to be Garrett Wilson, in my eyes, because that's just a steal. You got a guy who could be even going top 4, right? He really could be. It's very unlikely, but he could go top 4. And you got him here at number 11. You got the size, you got the athleticism, you got the hands, you got the reliability. You got really everything on there. So, Wilson, I think he is a number 2 right now. But if Terry McLaurin doesn't re-sign and doesn't want to play for the Commanders next year, which he absolutely will, like, the Commanders are not letting him go. But then Garrett Wilson could transfer his talents in being a number 1 receiver in the NFL. We never know. Vikes at 12. Vikings. Excuse the slang there. It's not going to be Jordan Davis. I really want to go Kyle Hamilton, but it depends on what the Vikings think. Do they actually think that Kyle Hamilton's worth taking the risk here? Because a lot of people loved him coming out of the draft. Many thought him coming out of college, he was like the number 1 player on my big board, and obviously with his 40-yard dash, his athleticism, and I've seen more of his film, it's just not very impressive. So overall, I'm going to pass. I am going to pass, and I'm going to go with Trent McDuffie. I really feel strongly about this selection. McDuffie can do it all, and while this may be considered a reach in many eyes, it's not for me. I love McDuffie as a player. I think he could be a good nickel and boundary corner. He could do it all. Really, he can. Zone man, tackling, whatever. Give the man, and he will do his job properly. There's still not many trades, but this is probably the first trade down spot. Kyle Hamilton, Jordan Davis on the board, but I don't know if the Texans really want to take a safety here. So I think we make the first blockbuster move with the Steelers desperate to draft their favorite player in the draft. Malik Willis out of Liberty has fallen here to number 13. What will they give in return? What will they give, though? A 3 and a... See, I don't want to do a 4 because I feel like the Steelers will actually give up a ton of draft capital. So let's do a 1 and a 3 to get a 1 and a 6. I feel like that's the trade that the Steelers would opt for. So let's go with this. Number 20 and number 84 gets the Steelers pick 13 and 207 to move up in the draft. They will accept. And here you are at pick number 13. What do? You take, in my eyes, your favorite player in the draft, Malik Willis out of Liberty. I would hate this pick. I love Malik Willis. I hate the Steelers. But it's just something that I'll have to deal with. Malik Willis can be so good, dude. He's actually tremendous. Amazing, big arm, amazing mobility, great enthusiasm, but I guess he just goes to my least favorite team, like Najee Harris did last year, because last year Najee Harris, favorite player in college football. Where did he go? The Steelers. As Ravens at 14, this is another one of those tough spots. You just don't know what they're going to do. And could they take Jordan Davis? Absolutely. Could they take Trevor Penning? Absolutely. Right? Could they maybe invest in a corner? That would be dumb and stupid at this spot, especially with, Kyer Elam and Andrew Booth Jr. being the best one. But they could invest in a corner if, maybe McDuffie. And Kyle Hamilton won't come to the Ravens because they signed Marcus Williams. So really, it's between Jordan Davis and Trevor Penning. And I think I'm going to lead towards Jordan Davis. I think the Trevor Penning selection is only if Jordan Davis is not on the board, and I think it just works perfectly in my Ravens' favor. They get to draft Jordan Davis out of Georgia. Just really good. Just trust me on that, all right? He's very good. If they trade down here, I would not be mad, because that would mean a team is trading up for Kyle Hamilton. That may be the Cowboys. That would be a weird trade, but it could happen, never know. But I think the Ravens stick here. I think they go with Jordan Davis. Just tremendous athlete, really good player. Eagles at 15, no-brainer that they're taking Kyle Hamilton here at 15. It's a steal. Whether or not you like him as a player, as an athlete, he is a steal here at 15, and you guys know it, because he is sideline to sideline range, versatile, playmaker. He can do it all. Really, he can. Saints at 16. Trevor Penning? Nah. You know what? I'm going to go with Chris Olave, right? Yeah, I'm going to go with Chris Olave. Personally, I think he is a very good route runner and very underrated as a prospect. And the Saints love taking their Ohio State players. And I think they know that Saints fans would go crazy if they did not receive a receiver. That was weird. But if they did not get a receiver in the first round. So I think they maybe invest in a receiver. Yeah, you maybe pass them upon Trevor Penning, who will for sure go here at number 17. But you get a really, 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 really good player, and you can't really pass that up. Eagles at 18, Jameson Williams. I mean, yeah, Chris Olave going over Jameson Williams is kind of, sort of unbelievable. But in a way, the Saints love drafting Ohio State players, and the Eagles just will start loving to draft Alabama receivers. That was bad grammar, but anyways, they really do need a receiver. They need help. Jalen Hurts needs help, and I think he's going to get it with Jameson Williams. Just amazing deep threat. Amazing. Saints at 19. I think this could be a quarterback, and yes, I know they re-signed Jameis Winston, but he could be a bridge. We never know how he's going to play because he got injured, right? He's not a sure thing. But that, I think, maybe is why they lean towards not drafting a QB. And they did this last year. They drafted Peyton Turner. And I think they do this again. I think they maybe reach for a guy like Tyler Smith, who could play a tackle, right? But, he's really, really powerful, very aggressive. I like him a lot as a player. I think he's going to be going in the second round, early, mid-second round. But we could see the Saints take a bite here. But there's just no reason to take this pick, especially because there's not many good offensive tackles on the board. Plus, Tyler Smith's going to be available, right, later in the first round. Plus, Zion Johnson could be good, but he's mainly a guard and a center, both of which you don't need. So, Kenyon Green and Tyler Smith, probably the best bets. And those are not the best picks here. So, I think the Saints trade out of this spot. But who would a team be trading up for? That, I don't know. I paused the recording. I don't know what I was saying. I remember that I wanted to say that I don't know, so that's what I'm saying. I have no idea what I was saying. That's cool. A team like the Buccaneers could trade up here, but interdivisional trading is just so unlikely. What you saw with the Cowboys and the Eagles is probably never going to happen. So, a team could trade up for Daxton Hill, or they could move up. There's really not many players to move up for, is there? It could be a team who's looking to draft Zion Johnson who can't get him, right? What if the Chiefs traded up to 19 to get Treylon Burks? Would that be too crazy? This is really tough. The Saints should not take this pick, but no one else would want to trade up. It's 19. I don't know. What do I want to trade up for? The most likely team that's going to trade up here is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs moving up for Treylon Burks. That's going to be, I think, perfect for the New Orleans Saints to move back down. That would make them feel like they're a very good team again. I don't know why I said that, but maybe it's going to take quite a bit to move up. Even a second round pick won't do much. What if we traded number 62 for a sixth? I could make this happen. And it's going to take a while, though. It could happen, though. It's going to take a while. It really is. The Draft Network's trade logic is sometimes dumb. If you're trying to move up for 19, why would you give up a second round pick? It was accepted. Let's go. Okay. So the Chiefs move up to 19. It is a reach, but it's a risk, big risk. But they take Treylon Burks. They trade up, get a pretty good receiver. He plays faster than he is, man. He plays faster than what he ran. So you got to consider him taking him in the top 20 because of versatility and reliability, and the amount of times he got targeted. He never really, got burned out. He kept producing for Arkansas. And guaranteed he would be the #1 receiver in this class if he had ran 4.3. 100%. As Texans at 20, I think this is George Karlaftis. He's projected to go at 13 even. So if he goes to the Texans at 20, don't be surprised for sure. Because, Karlaftis is good. I don't think he's amazing. I think there are players who are much, much better than him. But other than that, I think Karlaftis is probably going to go to the Texans, and they're completely addressing defense in the first round. Patriots at 21. This is another trade down spot for me. It's really weird because the Patriots they never take picks. They never do. They always trade back. They get more draft capital, and then they waste their picks because they know that, hey, we're going to do good anyways. So why, invest too heavily in draft picks and just why not trade down? Obviously, there's a very, very good player that they can pass up. They're going to take him. But I think the Cowboys move up here to 21 to jump the Cardinals and the Packers to take, a really, really good player. Number 24 to 21 to get, I feel like this is rigged. Yeah, I think it's glitching out. So, what actually I would do is offer... Why does this a 2021 pick? We're in the 2022 draft. What? Hold up. Am I not doing a 2022 NFL mock draft? What's going on? This is glitching out. What's going on? It's completely glitching. It's really not letting me trade because... What? That's the dumbest reason, dude. We're in the 2022 draft. We're not picking in 2021. Okay, I guess I'll just work with the 2021 picks, even though that's not the year we're picking in. That's rough, dude. That's rough. What would they trade? Like a 4 and a 5? Cool. Let's do a 1 and a 4. Let's go 1 and a 4. Yeah. 24 and 129 for pick number 21. That's accepted. This dumb. It just glitched out completely. But the reason I have him trading up here to this spot is because I had him taking Daxton Hill. They know they need corner. They know they need defense. Hill can play nickel corner and safety, which are two very big needs. They could go with an IDL. That's a bit of a weird pick for me right now. Devonta Wyatt at 21 could be a very interesting fit. Maybe fits into their 4-3 in some way, like Neville Gallimore, Osa Odigizua. They're young. I think you maybe give them a couple more years to develop. As Packers at 22. Okay, I'm going to go with Boye Mafe just because there's no good receivers to take here. If there was, immediately they would be off the board to the Packers because I know Christian Watson, yeah, but he doesn't really feel... I don't really feel him going at 22. That's just a bit too much of a reach. So I think Boye Mafe could be perfect. They do need an edge, so I think they go with a pretty good edge rusher here at 22. Cardinals at 23. This is a really bad spot for me. I really don't know what the hell they're going to do. You know what? I'm going to address corner. I'm going to go with Kaiir Elam. He's very physical. I think that at some point they're going to need to address corner. Might as well be in the first round because there are really no good edge rushers on the board. Unless you want to take a risk at David Ajabo, who is injured, or Arnold Ebiketie, who's going to be a reach. You take a corner, and that's going to be Kaiir Elam. Very physical, very athletic. You got a good player here. Patriots at 24. I mean, you got to take this pick in some way. So I'm going to go with Christian Watson. Yeah, I'm going to go with Christian Watson. Good body control, good athleticism, and good size. The measurables fit. They trade back, still get a very good player, as Bills at 25, no-brainer. If there's a cornerback on the board, you take Andrew, in this case, Andrew Booth Jr., you take him. Because they have not very good, they don't have very good depth. That's what I'm trying to say at corner. So, Booth, who can just do zone and man extremely well, and has very good ball skills, playing the football, just is a very, very, very good pick. Titans at 26. It could be an offensive lineman. It could be a receiver. Jahan Dotson is available. Devin Lloyd. I really feel like Zion Johnson. Zion Johnson could be decent, right? I want like a versatile tackle and / guard, and that could be Tyler Smith. That could be the guy who goes here, like being the first guard, interior offensive lineman off the board. Just doesn't make sense though. I'm gonna go with. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go with No, I'm going to go with Kenyon Green. I'm going to shock here. It's a very, very, very big shock. Just like the Titans took Isaiah Wilson. Kenyon Green may not go into the first round, but if he does, I think he goes to a team like the Titans because he can play all 5 offensive line positions, and the Titans really badly need offensive line. If they need to trade up for a receiver in the second round, this is a very good receiving class. Feel free to do so. As Bucks at 27, very easy pick. Zion Johnson, back-to-back guards. Johnson can play guard, center, really very, very well at both of those positions. And, well, after losing Alice Kappa and in free agency and Ollie Marpet for retirement, the Bucks are probably going to want to invest in a guard or a center, / guard, but Zion Johnson is the perfect fit. Packers at 28. Let's go with Sky Moore. George Pickens is getting first-round hype, which is really interesting. But Sky Moore has very good, run-after-catch abilities, a very dynamic player. And really, he puts up pretty much all of Caleb Ellaby's stats, who, by the way, is the worst quarterback I've ever seen, ever. He's terrible. He is literally dog water. He's garbage. But Sky Moore, on the other hand, completely different story. He's really, really good. And another one of my favorite players in this entire draft. Saints at 29, I think this is going to be the player that they wanted to take at 19, Tyler Smith. You got a very good receiver with Chris Olave, and then you trade back, you get a much better draft capital, and you get Tyler Smith, which is really, really interesting. He's very powerful, very ferocious, and can play guard or tackle. And that's, you very badly need tackle here. So Tyler Smith is perfect. Chiefs at 30, I'm going to go with Arnold Ebiketie. Right? No. Actually, no. I'm going to go with Lewis Seen out of Georgia, who's getting a ton of first-round hype as well. They lost Tyrann Mathieu. They have Juan Thornhill, they have Justin Reed, but Juan Thornhill never gets any snaps. They prefer Daniel Sorensen for whatever goddamn reason. Daniel Sorensen's ass. But Lewis Seen can start immediately, and he's just a good player. He's the third best safety in the class. And debatably second, but I think Dax Hill is quite a bit better in my eyes. That's my opinion, right? But Lewis Seen is a good player, can replace Tyrann Mathieu. Bengals at 31, corner interior offensive line. Tyler Linderbaum is the best center in the draft. You take him here. Unless Zion Johnson's a center, which could happen, Tyler Linderbaum, best center in the draft, best pure center in the draft. They don't have a very good center. They did not have a very good offensive line, but they address it with Lionel Collins and Alex Kappa. Jonah Williams is finally healthy. Jackson Carman's in there. You got good players. Now you just need a center, and it's all set. Linderbaum is just the perfect piece of the puzzle to protect Joe Burrow, to give Joe Burrow weapons. The Bengals are offense literally going to be unstoppable if Joe Burrow actually has a lot of time to throw. And finally, to cap off the final mock draft, pick number 32. And I'm going to go with Kenny Pickett out of Pittsburgh. He's available at 32, so why not, right? Why not? He's NFL ready. If you want to start him right away, you can. But overall, yeah, I mean, he's just a very good player. He's a good player. He's good at everything that he does, or average to good. meets average level. So if you want a guy with like a low ceiling but a very high floor, I think you take Kenny Pickett. A lot of his throws though include like check downs, and I don't really like quarterbacks who don't take many risks because it just doesn't show their talent, how to stretch the field, how big their arm is, how good their arm talent is. It just doesn't really come from check downs, and that's what Kenny Pickett does a lot. But that is going to do it for the final mock draft. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.